Hey guys, so I just saw the new Conjuring film, The Conjuring Last Rites, and I thought I'd just go ahead and film my review and just post it right away. Why not? Of course, this video is, safe to watch, and I'm not going to get into really any spoilers, maybe at the very end, we'll see. But don't worry, you're safe to watch this, and if I do, I'll, of course, give you a warning. And in typical CHH fashion, I like to kind of answer the question right up at the front, did I enjoy The Conjuring Last Rites? I think the grand answer is yes. Here's what I'll say right up front when it comes to regards to the rest of the films. I had a lot of problems with the third one. I thought it was the best story. I really loved the story. When you read about it or hear the story told, it's extremely scary sounding. But the execution just felt like a normal horror film. And I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but I thought that James Wan had some of the most atmospheric movies. And the first two Conjuring films I found to be fantastic. I loved them. The third film, he was sorely missed. Now, the question is James Wan missed on this movie? In a sense, I gotta be totally honest, yeah, but I also think that this movie was definitely a cut above the third one, and it definitely felt more entertaining and, I guess more authentic in a sense. So in a brief sense, I'll give you guys a rundown of the story and I'll tell you about a few other things. Conjuring Last Rites essentially takes place in the mid-1980s, which it was pretty cool to see a Conjuring film in the 80s, of course. The ones previously we've seen, most of them were in the 70s, which don't get me wrong, I love 70s, but it was, this was fresh in a world where 80s movies are kind of done to death. The Conjuring never really did that, so it was nice to see one in the 80s, and I also want to credit them for not bashing the decade over your face. There were definitely cool moments where you heard David Bowie with Let's Dance, you heard a little bit of The Cult, which is one of my favorite bands. Other than that, besides some of the haircuts, I mean, it's really just the setting. They don't base the movie off the fact that this is the 80s, where they want you to just feel cool about it, so I give credit there. Other movies, definitely the whole aesthetic is, hey, it's 80s, look at this, look at that. This didn't do that. So there's this family in Pennsylvania, and one of the daughters has her confirmation as somebody that grew up Catholic. That was something I went through as well. It's essentially like an adult baptism in a sense. I could get into a little bit more of that, but just know that's kind of what it is. And essentially, the grandparents that live with the family, they get the girl a mirror that they got from a swap meet. This mirror is the last thing that this family needed in this home because this mirror essentially haunts this house. Before you know it, you start hearing creaking noises. The family members are like, what is going on? And then all hell breaks loose. They're screwed, and they know they're screwed. The daughters are freaking out. They try to get rid of the mirror, and it doesn't work. And obviously, you see where this whole story is going to converge. The Warrens are going to need to help them. That's essentially the story. There's obviously a lot more to that, and there's other things that are obviously important to the story that I'll leave out. That way, you're not going to be spoiled by other things, of course. Overall, I thought the movie was entertaining. Like I said, I definitely feel James Wan's presence is missed with these films. That's not to say that there aren't Conjuring films that I think are great that he didn't direct. I think Annabelle Creation was not directed by him, but that movie was absolutely phenomenal. This one was a cut above 3, and I felt it was vastly more entertaining. I thought the house that they shot this in was great, and they never overly lit anything. The way 80s homes look with that wallpaper wood panel and just kind of like corner lights, it dimmed the house down to where it felt fairly authentic and creepy, and definitely elevated the scenery. There are some things I definitely want to complain about. There's one scene in particular where it was a little Evil Dead-ish, and I was like, who could survive that? Obviously, I won't get into too much detail on that. And there's also some makeup stuff. Now, this was something that was all in the trailer. Some of it just looks a little hokey. Some of these demon faces and designs we've seen, there's certainly been better ones in other movies. And in this one definitely felt a little hokey. Not all of it, but definitely a certain something looked a little hokey. What can I say? But in terms of like the arcs of the family and the Warrens, I really enjoyed that. I thought the family aspect was good, and I thought the Warren stuff was phenomenal, possibly the best we've seen so far, and rightfully so. This movie is, of course, wrapping things up, so you get a lot of character arcs and stuff like that with them, and I thought it was done really, really well. Like I said, I think this one's better than 3. I don't think it's better than 1 or 2 because those are genuinely creepy films. But I thought this one was written well. I thought the Warren stuff was phenomenal. and I really, really thought the movie was entertaining. I can't really necessarily say that I was scared, but that would also be silly for a 33-year-old man to say I was scared. Like I said, the first two were creepy, but in a really enjoyable creepy kind of way, because Wan's style was phenomenal. This one certainly had some cool moments that I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. But it was more entertaining than anything, and that I'm not going to complain about. It's what's there to complain about where I think something's just entertaining. So overall, guys, I thought the movie was good. Like I said, better than 3, a step up, and I actually applaud the fact that they didn't do any overtly hacky kind of jump scares. Of course, there's stuff that is set up like it, but it never feels cheap in my opinion. Overall, I think this is a good horror film. A good horror film. I would probably rate this probably about 3.5 stars, where the Conjuring 3 I'd probably do 2.5. This one I thought was just a step above, and thank God. I think we're going out on a good note. And it could have been a lot worse, that's for sure. I'm kind of sad now because, like, is that the last Conjuring universe film? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But if that is, I'm okay going out with that one. I am. So, great performances from Vera and Patrick. They did a great job, and good performances all throughout the film. I enjoyed it. What can I say, guys? I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good way to go out, and I enjoyed the film. I thought it was a pretty damn good horror film. 3.5 stars, guys. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching this. It's your old pal CHH. Let me know your thoughts when you see the film, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.